Welcome to British Biomedicine Institute. Today I, Dr. Pramod Khatri, is going to represent a very simple topic named as tumor immunology. So basically, TSA, tumor and specific antigens, they play an important role in tumor immunology, and they are a complex group of MHC group 1 with abnormal fragment of cellular proteins. Basically, they are chemically induced tumor leukemia with chromosomal aberrations. They form a complex of MHC group with fragment of oncogenic virus protein like your tumor caused by the viruses like EBV, SV40 and polyomavirus virus. There can be formation of abnormal form of glycoproteins like silation of surface protein of tumor cells. Idiotype of myeloma and lymphoma are basically they are clonotyping of TCR and BCR gene. So there are various tumor antigens, or we can say tumor associated antigens TAA, and they are present in normal cells. They also differs in their quantity, time and local expression, and they are also used as an auxiliary diagnostic markers. So tumor associated antigens are basically oncofetal antigens which are present on the normal embryonic cells and on some tumor cells like alpha fetoprotein AFP. Basically it is a hepatome, and CEA carcinoembryonic antigen which can cause colon cancer. Melanoma antigens are available in MAGE1 and MelanA. Antigen HE, HER2 or NEW, the receptors of EGF, epithelial growth factors, or they are available in the memory carcinoma. EpCAM, EpCAM, like epithelial cell adhesion molecules, and they also leads to metastasis. And differentiated antigens of leukemic cells, basically they are present on the normal cells of leukocytes lineage and CALA. CALLA means acute lymphoblastic leukemia, or we can say CD10 pre-B cells. So anti-tumor immune mechanisms. The immune control can be done with the help of tumor cells which normally arise in the tissues, and they can be eliminated by the T cells. So this is a diagram of immune surveillance of tumor. Basically, your immune suppressive cells like TREG or MDSC, they are converted into CD8 plus and NK, natural killer cells, where they can escape. And from the normal cells, there can be formation of transformed cells, and from there will be elimination, like your cancer immunosurveillance activity will be carried out. Now comes anti-tumor immune response. Basically, the tumor cells are weakly immunogenic, and they occur when the tumor antigens are presented by the T cells of dendritic cell which are being activated in the inflammatory environment. Anti-tumor immune mechanism, basically if the tumor cells are detected in defense, it may be involved in non-specific mechanisms like your neutrophilic granulocytes, macrophages, NK cells and complement, and antigen-specific mechanism like your TH1 and TC cell antibodies. So DC are necessary for activation of antigen-specific mechanisms, and they can be the predominance of TH1, or I can say IF gamma or TNF alpha. They can be cell-specific mediated cytotoxic reactivity, or we can say TC, and there will be activation of TH2, which can stimulate B cells. B cells are basically tumor-specific antibodies produced by the ADCC. Tumor cells are also destroyed by the cytotoxic NK cells, or we can say ADCC. Interferons are basically anti-proliferative cytotoxic effect of tumor cells, or we can say INF gamma or DC maturation. So now comes the mechanism of tumor resistance to the immune system. Basically, there will be high variability of tumor cells, low expression of tumor antigens, silation process will be carried out, and in some anti-cancer substance, they can produce a stimulating effect. There can be the production of factors which can inactivate T lymphocytes, and if there is an expression of FAST, then it can lead to formation of T lymphocyte apoptosis. And if there is an inhibition of the function or durability of dendritic cells, then there will be no interleukin formation or TGF beta formation. So now comes the transplantation. So transplantation is basically transfer of tissue or a organ, and it can be of four main types like autologous, syngeneic, allogenic or xenogenic. So autologous is basically versus donor and the recipient, and syngeneic is basically they are genetically identical donors and the recipients, or we can say identical twins. Allogenic is basically they are genetically non-identical donor of the same species, whereas xenogenic basically they are the donor of other species, or implant is basically an artificial tissue compensation. So in allo transplantation, basically there will be difference in the donor recipient, where major histocompatibility group and secondary histocompatibility age group they play a role. And if there is a allo reactivity of T lymphocytes, then the risk of rejection on GVHD graft versus host disease will increase. So there are various tests which are required before transplantation. First one will be the ABO compatibility. Basically, it is a matching of blood group, and it will inform about the risk of hyperacute or accelerated rejections, like formation of AB against A or B, or AB on graft vascular endothelium. Type 2 test. Second test will be basically HLA typing. It is basically matching tissue type, and it will help in determination of HLA allelic form by phenotyping or genotyping. And in the cross match, there will be basically a detection of performed allo antibodies. It is usually done after blood transfusion or transplantation or repeated childbirth. And fourth, it is known as mixed lymphocyte reaction. Basically, it is used to test the T lymphocyte alloreactivities. So under HLA typing, basically it is done with serotyping, or we can say microlymphocytotoxic test, which has been carried out. Under HLA typing, basically the molecular genetic method play an important role, and here we will be doing a genotyping of a patient, like with the help of PCR SSP, PCR SSO or PCR SBT. And under cross match testing, we will be we want to determine the performed allo antibodies reaction, and here the recipient serum plus donor lymphocyte plus rabbit complement, they are mixed together, and if there is a cytotoxic AB against donor HLA-AG are present in the recipient serum, then AB activate the complement, and there will be lysis of donor lymphocyte and dye penetration into lysis cell. And if there is a positive test, then the presence of the performed AB, it will increase the risk of hyperacute rejection, which can lead to contraindication of the organ transplantation. So under this diagram, there is a cross match between recipient sera and donor lymphocyte, and if there is a formation of complement, then it can lead to lysis or no lysis. So under MRL, mixed lymphocyte reaction, we want to determine the T lymphocyte alloreactivity, and basically here the mixed donor and the recipient lymphocytes, they are mixed, and we will determine the T lymphocyte after recognition of allogenic MHC group, whether they activate or they proliferate or not. And on the one-way MRL, basically it is used to determine the recipient T lymphocyte reactivity against the donor cells, and the donor cells, they are treated with chemotherapy or irradiated, lose the ability to the proliferation. So in one way, the cells will be allele A donor cells, they will be irradiated, and then we will check the recipient cell whether they lack class 2 MHC of donor, or we will also check recipient cell whether they are sharing class 2 MHC of donor. If there is no reaction, it can lead to either proliferation of the recipient cells, or there will be no reaction. And if there is a proliferation, then we will add thymidine, and then there will be incorporation of radioactivity into the cell nuclear DNA. So basically, various major factors are available for the rejection of organ transplant. It can be due to hyperacute, it can be accelerated, it can be acute, or it can be chronic. So under hyperacute rejection, basically this will take place within minutes to hour after transplantation, and here the humoral mediated immune response get activated. So the mechanism here is that if a recipient blood is present performed on, or there is a presence of natural antibodies like IgM, anti-carbohydrate AG before transplantation, then there will be formation of AB plus AG of the graft, or we can say MHC group or endothelial AG, which can damage the graft with the help of activation of the complements. And if the graft is from endothelium cells, then there will be activation of coagulation factors and platelets, which will lead to the formation of thrombin and accumulation of neutrophil granulocytes. And in order to prevent this reactivity, we must check that there is a negative cross match before transplantation, and we have to make sure that there is a ABO compatibility. Next rejection is accelerated rejection. Basically, this type of reaction usually happens in 3 to 5 days after transplantation, and it can be caused by the antibodies that do not activate the complement, and if the cytotoxic and inflammatory response, they are triggered by the binding of antibodies to FC receptor on phagocytes and NK cells, then this can lead to accelerated rejection. And in order to prevent accelerated rejection, we must have a negative cross match before transplantation, and again ABO compatibility is also required. Under acute rejection, basically it usually happens within days to week after the transplantation, or after a lack of immunosuppressive treatment, and basically it is a cell mediated immune response which can lead to formation of acute rejection. So here the mechanism of action is basically there will be a reaction of recipients like Th1 and TC cells against AG of graft tissue. There will be infiltration of lymphocytes, monocytes, granulocytes around small vessels, which can lead to destruction of the tissue transplant. Under chronic rejection, basically this usually happens within the 2 months of transplantation, and this is the most common cause of graft failure. And the mechanism is not fully understood till date, but if there is a non-immunological factor like tissue ischemia or Th2 response with production of alloantibodies, or pathogenic role of cytokines and growth factors like TGF-beta, and there can also be fibrosis of internal blood vessels of the transplanted tissues or endothelial damage, which can lead to impaired perfusion of the graft, and then the gradual loss of the function will be there. So the dominating factor here is the vascular damage in the chronic rejection. Now comes the rejection factors. So basically the genetic difference between the donor and the recipient, especially in the gene which code for MHC group or HLA, they play an important role for rejection factor. And the type of tissue and organ, like the strongest reaction against vascularized tissue containing many APC or skin. The activity of recipient immune system, like immunodeficiency recipient has a smaller reaction, there can be an immunosuppressive therapy after transplantation or suppression of rejection. And if the length of the ischemia and the method of preservation and traumatization of organ at the collections can also lead to rejection factor. So now comes a disease which usually happens after the organ transplantation, like GVHD, graft versus host disease. Basically, it usually after your BMT, a bone marrow transplantation, and GVH also happens after blood transfusion to immunodeficiency recipients. T lymphocytes in the graft bone marrow, they can recognize the recipient tissue AG as foreign, or there will be an alloreactivity. Under acute GVH, graft versus host disease, it usually happens between days to week after the transplantation of the stem cell, and there will be damage to the liver, skin and internal mucosal lining. In order to prevent the acute GVH disease, we must use appropriate donor selection, and there has to be removal of T lymphocytes after the graft, and effective immunosuppressive medicines should be taken by the patient. Under chronic GVH disease, basically it usually lasts for months to a year after transplantation, and the infiltration of the tissues and organ by the Th2 lymphocytes, production of allo antibodies and cytokines, it can lead to formation of fibrosis. Basically, it is the process of autoimmune disease like vasculitis, scleroderma or Zika syndrome. Under chronic inflammation of blood vessels like your skin, internal organs or gland, it can lead to formation of fibrosis, or there will be blood circulation disorder or loss of function. So we have to prevent this chronic GVH disease in the organ transplanted people. GVL, graft versus leukemia effect. So basically here the donor T lymphocytes, they react against residual leukemic cells of the recipients like set point response, and there will be the mechanism here is consistent with acute GVH, and it can be associated with certain degree of GVH, or we can say it can lead to formation of various adverse reactions. Now comes the immunopathological effect reactions. So under immunological reactions, basically the immune response which cause the damage to the body, it can cause inappropriate immune response against the pathogens. There will be an inappropriate response to harmless antigens like autoimmunity. So the immunopathological reactions, they can be classified based upon the comb and gel test. Basically, if there is an immunopathological reactions like immune response which cause damage to the body, it is basically a secondary consequences of defense against pathogens, and there will be an inappropriate response towards the harmless antigens and autoimmunity. So basically there are four main types of immunopathological reactions. Like type 1, there will be response based on IgE antibodies. Type 2, response based on antibody like IgG and IgM. Type 3 reaction, basically response based on the formation of immune complexes. And type 4, basically it is cell mediated response. So in the diagram it is shown that there are four main types of hypersensitivity reactions like type 1, type 2, type 3 and type 4. So now comes the immunopathological reactions which are based on antibodies like IgG and IgM. Basically these are type 2 reactions, and there will be a cytotoxic antibodies like IgG or IgM which bind to the antigen on cells for the complement activation. First point. Second point, basically they will also be binding to the Fc receptors on the phagocytes and natural killer cells, which can result in formation of ADCC. So example of the immunopathological reactions like type 2 are, there can be transfusion reactions after administration of incompatible blood. They bind to the antibodies binding of antibodies to the antigens on the erythrocytes. It can lead to activation of classical pathway of complements, and after this there will be cell lysis. And if there is a hemolytic disease of newborn, it can be caused by the antibodies which are produced against the RHD antigen. Under autoimmune disease, basically it is a organ specific cytotoxic antibodies, like antibodies which are produced against erythrocytes, neutrophils, thrombocytes, glomerular basement membrane. And we can also use stimulating antibodies or blocking antibodies, like under the condition of Graves' Basedow disease. There is basically a stimulation of antibodies against the receptor of the TSH. And Myasthenia gravis, basically it is the blocking of acetylcholine receptor, and blocking here we are blocking the neuromuscular transmission. Under pernicious anemia, basically there is a blocking of absorption of vitamin B12. In antiphospholipid syndrome, there is an antibody which are produced against phospholipids. And under fertility disorder, basically the antibodies they are produced against sperms and the oocytes. So under the immunopathological reactions, they are based on immune complex formation, like reaction type 3. So basically they are caused by IgG antibodies which will be binding to the antigens, and then there will be creation of immune complexes. Under immunocomplexes, there will be binding of Fc receptor to phagocytes which can lead to activation of complement. And under immune complex, depending upon the quantity and the structure, they are get eliminated by the phagocytes which are stored inside the tissue. Pathological immunocomplexes response, they basically arise when there is a large dose of antigens or antigen in the body remains, which can arise within 10 to 15 days after the application of AG, and there is an induced inflammation which can go to a chronic stage also. The immune complex are deposited in the kidney, like glomerulonephritis, on the surface of endothelial cells like vasculitis, and in synovial joints like in arthritic patients. Now comes serum sickness. Basically it is a therapeutic application of genogenic serum, or we can say anti-serum to the snake venom. And there will be creation of immune complexes and their storage in the vessel walls of the different organ. And the clinical manifestations here includes urticaria, arthralgia and myalgia. Under the systemic lupus erythematosus, SLE, the antibodies they are formed against the nuclear antigens, or we can say ANA or anti-DSNA. And under the farmer's lung, IgG antibodies they get formed against inhaled antigens like mold or hay. And in the post streptococcal glomerulonephritis or cryptoglobulinemia or rheumatoid arthritis, or under the post infectious arthritis, the chances of serum sickness usually increases. So now comes the DTH, delayed type hypersensitivity. Basically there will be a local reaction which will be caused by the Th1 cells and monocytes, or we can say macrophages, and there will be an immunization of antigens which can lead to formation of antigen specific Th1 cells, or we can say memory cells. And it usually takes place between 12 to 48 hours after the next contact with antigen which are arise from the local reactions like granuloma. And there can also be tuberculin reactions, tissue damage in TB patients and leprosy patients. There can be sarcoidosis or multiple sclerosis also in type 4 reaction. Under subtype 4, there will be a cellular cytotoxic response, like we can say TC activation. Basically it is similar to a DTH reaction, and here Th1 cells, they activate CD8 plus T lymphocyte cells, which can lead to formation of viral rashes, viral hepatitis. There will be acute rejection of transplanted organ, and there will be formation of some autoimmune thyroiditis, and there can also be a contact dermatitis. So basically, contact dermatitis is a localized rashes or irritation of the skin, which has been caused by the contact with the allergens like your nickel, chromium, and basically these are the ingredient of cosmetic product, or we can say plant allergens and others. And this is the first step of sensitization, and the symptoms usually appear between 24 to 48 hours after the second contact with the allergens. And for this we need to use a test named as patch test for the diagnosis of the contact dermatitis. So basically, patch test is a method used to determine if a specific substance causes a allergic inflammation in the skin, and allergens, they are applied to the special hyperallergic patch of the back skin, and the results will be evaluated after the 48 and 72 hours. And if there is a positive reaction, then it means the patient is suffering from eczema. So this is all about the presentation. I hope you have gained a lot of clinical information through this presentation. Please like, share, subscribe our YouTube channel named as British Biomedicine Institute. Good luck. Goodbye.